Well, thank you, Aunties, and any uncles or non-binary funkles that wander in. I do appreciate you letting me sit a spell and noodle around as you go about your work. I promise not to step on any pelts, and I'll try to keep my stories out of the smoke. It's been a long few months of walking, and it does a tired body good to make some music, I think. One kind auntie expressed concern about the smell. Yeah, you. But back home, I'd play for my mothers and aunties by the salt pans. Different work, different smell, same hands. So this feels familiar. Good. I was up in Asheville in the fall. You've heard, I'm sure, what came during the treaty signing, the attacks, the withered hand and all. So I won't darken the mood with a reminder of ill northern tidings, as those arrived before I did, I'm sure. I was there, though. A borrowed sword, tight in hand, a borrowed courage from Sablethorne trinkets, and our nation standing shoulder to shoulder. It was a sight, as Marion cannons, winter axes and shields, Sablethorne bows, hand cannons too, and Darkmire, well, we did what we do best, cause trouble. And it all worked out in the end. From there, I wandered east to the liberated cities, and say what you will about their paperwork, I've yet to meet a cook in swamp, prairie, or wood who can match a shepherd's pie out of Azamar. The lamb and onions stew soft under that thick layer of potatoes, and always a dark, spicy rum on the side, a blessing that. Things worms like to do. I'd scoop you off the prairie when the rain begins to fall, and if I needed tunnels, you'd be the first I'd call. If you were a worm, I'd put you on my fishing hook, just to dangle you over the water so you could take a better look. I'd feed you sharps and peels for all your wormy meals, and hold you in my hands no matter how tingly it feels. If you were a worm, then I'd be a worm. We'd squiggle and squirm. If you were a worm, and if two worms we both became, I think inside we'd stay the same, regardless of how many tails we grew. I know it's true, love is blind, 'cause if we both were worms you'd find I'd give each of my 5 hearts to you. If we were both worms, we'd go on picnics every day, dodging fish, birds, and raccoons along the way. We'd ward off certain danger by hiding in the ground, and when the coast was clear, we'd show off the dirt we found. If you were a worm, I'd be a worm. We'd squiggle and squirm. Squiggle and squirm. If you were a worm. I know it's true, love is blind, but if we both were worms, you'd find I'd give each of my 5 hearts to you. If we were both worms, I wouldn't judge you for your slime. We'd make each other giggle all the time. We'd have some days together, the kind you don't forget. Sure, sometimes we'd miss the lives we left behind. And yet, if you were a worm, then I'd be a worm. We'd squiggle and squirm. If you were a worm. There's a rain coming down in the valley. We're gonna wash in the river so deep. There's a rain coming down in the valley. Oh Lord, there ain't no devil going where I go. Ain't no devil going where I go. Ain't no water gonna bring me down. There ain't no devil now. Gather up, the rains are coming. There's a rain coming down. Meet me out at the edge of town. There's a rain coming down. Tell everybody the water's rising. There's a rain coming down. You think it's tame, but it'll put you in the ground. There's a rain coming down in the valley. We're gonna wash in the river so deep. There's a rain coming down in the valley. Oh Lord, there ain't no devil going where I go. Ain't no devil going where I go. Ain't no water gonna bring me down. There ain't no devil now. I love all my children here, but there's a rain coming down, like the roots that grow in the river for the trees. There's a rain coming down, and if you get there before I do, there's a rain coming down now. Tell what the water couldn't take from me. 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 There's a rain coming down in the valley. We're gonna wash in the river so deep. There's a rain coming down in the valley. Oh Lord, there ain't no devil going where I go. Ain't no devil going where I go. Ain't no devil gonna bring me down. There ain't no devil now. Oh, you know, maybe you can help me figure on something. Well, I was on my way here on that long road through the wind-swept plains that leads to the Sablewood by way of Madison Pass, and I was well past the last lonely westernmost township of Azamar, and I'd reached the crest of a small hill, and I saw displayed out in front of me the most incredible view of the Sablewood from a grand distance. The towering trees filled the wide valley, and above them lazulite skies empty of clouds and dark as a ripe blueberry. And while I am unembarrassed to be brought slack-jawed by the awe-inspiring beauty of the northern forest frames as they were, I did turn a momentary red when a voice startled me out of my mouth-agape reverie. Sharing the hilltop and marveling twin-wise with me at the beauty of his home was a badgerkin fella who was opposite ways on his journey from a woodland holler out to Azamar, though it was in fact his holler he was coming from and not a friend's holler, as was my case and destination. But we decided to take advantage of the tableau and the company and share our lunches on that hill. And beyond the honey-roasted fiddlehead, the traveler shared with me a fantastical tale. The night before, there had been a storm, not so strong a storm as to keep a hardy traveler indoors or quench the parched earth, but unpredictable enough and wet enough to provide an atmosphere of foreboding and ominous augury. Under a rocky overhang, the traveler had decided to take his supper and wait out the storm, looking out over the flat prairie that stretched out towards Azamar and eventually the sea. The rain rattled against the stones above him, and a sudden howling wind pressed the grasses to the earth. And then he saw it. It was an enormous beast, stepping into view as he tells it its head was still half an arm taller than a winter shield wall. And even though it was balanced on 4 spindly legs that ended in stony boots, its back and flanks rippled with thick muscles, and it was covered in short, coarse hair, except for it had long, wild hair that whipped around as if with a mind of its own. It stood still in front of the traveler for several tense heartbeats, and then thunder boomed across the prairie. The creature's wild eyes locked onto the cave entrance, with the traveler hiding within, and, as if calling a response to the booming thunder, the creature leapt up on its 2 back legs, kicking its front legs in the air, and let out a terrible scream so loud and shrill that the traveler swore his blood turned so icy he could do nothing. He could not choke out a scream of his own. He could not even breathe. And just as he feared the creature would finish its scream by charging into the cave and tearing him limb from limb, it dashed away into the underbrush, leaving the traveler afeared, but otherwise unharmed. At least, that's a tale as he told me. Now, I like to think of myself as pretty capable of judging the height of a yarn during its spinning, and this one at its face does appear to be, if not Brobdingnangian, at the very least, quite impressive in stature. Still, whether it was a waking nightmare, or a trick of magic, or a very real monster, the likes of which has not yet been seen on the prairie, I do believe the traveler believed that he had seen the creature. Well, I haven't seen anything like that out on the prairie. Still, it was an ominous thing to hear, and I am glad that the weather treated me so well following that storm and on the rest of my journey into the woods. All the trees that grow so fair to adorn the Sablethorne, greater are none beneath the moon and sun than oak and ash and thorn. Sing oak and ash and thorn, good sirs, all on a midsummer's morn. Surely we sing no little thing in oak and ash and thorn. You that is old in churchyard mold, he breedeth a mighty bow. Alder for shoes do wise men choose, and beech for cups also. When you've killed, your bowl it is filled, your shoes are clean out worn. Back you must speed for all that you need to oak and ash and thorn. Oak and ash, thorn, good sirs, all on a midsummer's morn. Surely I sing of no little thing when I say oak, ash, and thorn. Sing oak, ash, and thorn. Elm, she hates mankind and waits till every gust be laid to drop a limb on the head of him that anyway trusts her shade. Whether a lad be sober or sad, or mellow from ale from the horn, he'll take no wrong when he lieth long 'neath oak and ash and thorn. Oak, ash, thorn, good sirs, all on midsummer's morn. Surely we sing no little thing in oak and ash and thorn. Do not tell the priest our plight, for he would call it sin. We've been out in the woods all night, conjuring summer in. We bring you good news by word of mouth, good news for cattle and corn. Sure as the sun come up from the south by oak and ash and thorn. Oak, ash, thorn, good sirs, all on a midsummer's morn. Surely we sing no little thing in oak and ash and thorn. Oak, ash, thorn, good sir, all on midsummer's morn. Surely we sing no little thing in oak and ash and thorn. In oak, ash and thorn. In oak, ash, and thorn. This next song I learned from or with or around someone from your neck of the woods who helped greatly to fortify me in preparation of that final battle. Well, not the way the song goes anyway, but anyway, I'm hoping at some point in this current passage through the Sablethorne to make it to Hosea Stump's holler. So if any of you know where that is, I suppose a point that way. Anyhow. Anyway, here goes. Down the road from me, there's an old hollow tree where you lay down a coin or two. If you hush up your mug, they'll fill up your jug with that good old Mountain Dew. Well, they call it that good old Mountain Dew. Those what refuse it are few. You may go round the bend, but you'll be coming back again for that good old Mountain Dew. Way up on the hill, there's an old whiskey still. It's run by this hard-working crew. You can tell if you sniff, you can get a good whiff. They're making that good old Mountain Dew. That good old Mountain Dew. Them will refuse it off you. You can go around the bend, but you'll be coming back again for that good old Mountain Dew. The preacher, he came by with a tear in his eye. He said his wife had the flu. Well, we told him he ought to give her a quart, that good old Mountain Dew. They call it that good old Mountain Dew. Them what refuse it are few. You may go around the bend, but you'll be coming back again. For that good old Mountain Dew. My brother Mort, he sawed off in short. Why, he measures just 4'2". But he thinks he's a giant when they give him a pint of that good old Mountain Dew. They call it that good old Mountain Dew. Them what refuse it are few. You may go around the bend, but you'll be coming back again for that good old Mountain Dew. My Uncle Bill has a still on the hill. He runs off a gallon or two. And the birds in the sky get so high they can't fly on that good old Mountain Dew. They call it that good old Mountain Dew. Them who refuse it are few. You can go around the bend, but you'll be coming back again for that good old Mountain Dew. Aunt Jane has a brand new perfume. It has a sweet smelling pea. Imagine her surprise when she had it analyzed. It was good old Mountain Dew. Well, I admit that one got a little bit away from me, but you know what they say. Sometimes you just got to give things a try, knowing that they probably won't work out. So that's where we are. Now, no one has, as of yet, asked me this question, but it is one I receive frequently, so I will get ahead of it now. While I am traveling the prairie or the woods, the icy westlands, I am oft asked, why are the mire folk so superstitious? It's a fair question. Certainly the wind has a strange and eerie temperament down south. It whips this way and that with no warning. The storms are sudden and sweep thunderous across the marsh, lightning like you've never seen. Marrows and undine frequently appear up the river and in the swamps farther inland than you would ever see in Azamar or the west. It is a strange place, certainly. But then, everywhere I've been so far is a little strange. Still, it's hard to argue, and those of you who've been to the mire are no doubt familiar with our many superstitions. If you see crabs crawling inland, well, someone's ghost done got stuck, so you best light a candle and wish it well on its journey. You crossing tide lines after dusk, you are asking for a spirit hitcher, so you best grasp your coin necklace tight, whisper a prayer and a handful of salt, and toss it into the river. And sure, you've seen mirefolk lever their chin at the water, rather than using any part of their hand, because we would never point at river. But there's one rule that, while outsiders don't always learn quickly, they certainly learn it well the first time they break it and come face to fist with a wild-eyed river wife. Never, ever disrespect the gloam. That period between day and dark, when the amber citrine sky melts into a restless pomegranate wine, the first pulsing beats hum out of the bourbon dance halls, and even the strangest and most untamed of the mud kids races to put on their shoes. The spirits stir, the stars wink in and out, whispers leak from strange places, words get lost and reappear in places that don't make any sense, like fish cupboards or jars of honey. And from the high stilts of Lavni to trickling mud at the slop shade, gloam milkers are stretching magic and binding enchantments for faith and profit. It is a long twilight, longer in the quarters than anywhere else I've been. Tracing over our river, the gloam slides and shines and shimmers and slips in and out of everything. And all is ode to river and gloam, as they bring power, health, wealth, magic, life to the bayou. And so, sure, many reasons for reverence, and that ought to be enough for folks to be respectful of a time in which so much happens for our people. Still, like so many things in the mire, what few rules we have are born of both carrot and sharp, terrible stick. From childhood we know the risk of ill fortunes that may befall one who fails to pay sufficient respect to the gloam and the spirits restless within it. Curses of clumsiness or hair loss, bad luck in love, misplacing precious objects, misplacing mundane but useful objects. Oh, the salt wives could fill all the books of Lavni with the unpleasantness swirling around disrespectful heads, but the one most feared, the one aunties scare naughty children with, and teenagers dare each other to whisper at the edge of a pier. His old Tom. Curses aside, it is best you don't go speaking mock ways about the gloam, or old Tom may come up from the depths and drag you back down with him. Well, I do miss my family. I miss my mamas and my aunties. I miss my friends. I miss my sisters. I miss the river. Go spin the wheel, see where it lands. Join in the circus, stay for a dance. Right when the war quiets down, strike up the band, keep marching on, my friends, and do what you can. Wait till your brothers and your sisters, they see where you've been. And if you loved the journey more than the end, go ahead and turn that hourglass around and count to 10. This ain't goodbye. Nah, it's just began. Go and make some mistakes. You live and you learn. Where the chips fall, it's not your concern. Like the wind is gonna breeze, the fires will burn. Just let the gears, my friends, oh, just let the gears, my friends, just let them turn.
Fuck it, I'm a flower, growing taller every day. I'm getting greener by the hour, and I don't care what people say. Fuck it, I'm a flower. I hear them marching. I wish I was there, but I'm searching for something that I left somewhere and only I remember, but I can't. It's somewhere on one hand, on the other I don't bother. I'm a mother like no other. Fuck it, I'm a flower, growing taller every day, getting greener by the hour. I notwithstanding a good defense, my shoulders take the load of handling everyone else's sorrow. By tomorrow I'll be feeling down. I'm a queen without a crown. Take your best shot, I'm around, I'm safe and sound. Fuck it, I'm a flower, growing taller every day, getting greener by the hour, and I don't care what people say. For all the me's and the you's and the we's and the who's and the all for one, for all people have the power. Fuck it, I'm a flower, fuck it, I'm a flower. Tired of talking, sick of watching people rush while they are walking. It's contagious and for ages we have all just gotten by, living in that same old lie. Let's break free, we're alive. Say, fuck it, I'm a flower, growing taller every day, getting greener by the hour. I don't care what people say. Fuck it, I'm a flower, growing taller every day, getting greener by the hour. I don't care what people say. Fuck it, I'm a flower, growing taller every day, getting greener by the hour. I don't care what people say. For all the me's and the you's and the we's and the who's and the all for one, for all people have the power. Fuck it, I'm a flower. Fuck it, I'm a flower. Smooth stones have fallen once more out of sky now like rain. I'm outside on the front lawn, getting beaten black and blue again. Looking back now, I always preferred child, my enemies to my friends. Always just seemed logical, some constant upon which you could depend. If my father was an earthquake, my mother was a hurricane. Me, I got my hands full, walking in a straight line, remembering my own name. Sky, the world snapped beneath your feet. Everything that was alive had died. I was born into a cold wind. Take the words out of your mouth, the color out of your eyes. I just keep what I can carry now, leave the rest behind. Heard stories of the city lights as I head out among the trees. Boughs bending like spider webs, letting no light in for the eye to see. Fireflies, summer skies, downward pressure of the heat. Sneak down that gravel at night till your black eyes hotter than the Azamar concrete. I was born when the trees around my home lit fire out into the arms of the sky. The world snapped beneath your feet. Everything that was alive had died. I was born into a cold wind. Take the words out of your mouth, the color out of your eyes. I just keep what I can carry now and leave the rest behind. Clear to go, there's a heavy load. Watch the human card castle fall apart. Tell you right now, it's more about the stomach out here than it is about the heart. See a man playing in a dark cafe with everybody's back turned. Sometimes you just gotta put your hand into the fire, make sure that it still burns. Red light at the downtown bars, pour out in puddles in the streets. I know some of you are out here starving, but it ain't for lack of something to eat. I was born in the trees snap beneath your feet, and everything that was alive had died. I was born into a cold wind. Take the words out of your mouth, the color out of your eyes. Just keep what I can carry now, and leave the rest behind.
Well, one of your little Pelt chitlins came up and asked me what old Tom is. And well, it's hard to say. Is old Tom a man, a spirit, a monster? Is it worth an investigation? These are questions for a more learned bard than me, but what I can tell you is what old Tom was. Many, many years ago, there lived in Pa Dlo a cat unlike any that had been before, or probably any that would come after. Old Tom, with sleek, voluminous fur and piercing amethyst eyes. He was tall as a salt cauldron, and he was rolling fat, and he was beautiful. See, old Tom had spent years padding along the dock, swiping fish from net thrower and fellow feline alike. When he was young, any attempt to stop him or reclaim your catch was met with his sharp fury. Old Tom's deep, rumbling growl would shake the planks beneath his feet, and the sound of his bristling fur would rattle your teeth. By the time he was grown, even full-grown human adults had learned not to try to take their catch back. He walked along, nose in the air, sniffing out whatever snack he wanted next, caring not a bit if the desired morsel was the only small fish an uncle had caught for his family's supper, or the only bite a bone-thin kitten had. Now there's something that should be noted about cats from the Darkmire quarters. They are, like all other residents of our watery home, very adept swimmers, in fact. Cats, children, tired aunties, sometimes carts of books, nothing is spared an occasional tumble into the warm and laughing embrace of river. And so in the bayou, cats, children, tired aunties, and sometimes carts of books all learn to swim just as well as they can walk. At least most of them do. See, old Tom was born heavy like bog iron and mean as a cottonmouth. From day one, old Tom expected every other ground-dwelling being to get out of his way, and they did. And so it was that old Tom, unlike the cats, children, tired aunties, net throwers, salt wives, scholars, and sometimes carts of books that would tumble in his wake, never did fall into the water, and by consequence, never learned to swim. And so, on one sunny day, old Tom was napping in his usual spot, directly in the middle of the dock. Now, I will admit that this next part is a bit debated among storytellers and bards. Some folks will say that old Tom didn't hear the netwife yelling as she ran down the dock, while others say he heard and smiled to himself as he ignored her pleas and went back to sleep. Insofar as we have established a pattern of behavior, I am inclined to believe the latter. But I don't know, and I don't know that it matters all that terribly much either way. In any case, the net wife was crying out for folks to clear the path. She had a muck fever remedio. And for those of you who've been to the mire and seen muck fever will know that it is a sickness of sweat and stink and pain, and that the cure is notoriously difficult to administer, as it ferments in the yellow gut of a tiny translucent spined fish that are rare and challenging to catch, and that once the fish leaves the water, you have only a short time to get it to the patient, as the stress of the catching sours the medicine. And knowing this, if someone yells that they have a muck fever fish, quarter folk clear a path, going so far as to leap into the water if that's what's necessary to help get sweet relief to a suffering compatriot. Old Tom, of course, did not do this. Old Tom did not get out of the way, didn't, in fact, move a muscle. The net wife, unfortunately, did not realize that Old Tom was not going to move until it was too late, and despite her best effort to leap the cat, her foot caught Old Tom's shoulder, and she was sent sprawling on the rough dock planks, and the muck fever fish tumbled from her hands. Now awoken from his princely nap, Old Tom cast a lazy eye at that delicate little fish, stepped on over to it, and slurped it up. Perhaps that little fish was enough to tip the scale, or perhaps some unseen thing watching the net wife cry finally decided that Old Tom had done enough. Whatever the reason, the dock beneath Old Tom's feet began to crack and splinter, and then, all at once, and much to Old Tom's surprise, the dock gave way entirely, sending him tumbling into the water. Deep into the murk he sank, his big, beautiful body roiling and twisting, his huge paws clawing towards the light shrinking above him. And in any other river across the hills and prairie, that might have been the end of our tale. But our river has needs. As Old Tom spent his last air crying out how unfair that his life be taken for so little a snack, River spun him up around in the depths and made an offer. River wouldn't let this be the end for Old Tom. River would give Old Tom a little more time in return for a favor. And but did Old Tom take that offer quick and cackle at that, laughing at River for making such a weak deal. But Old Tom, you prideful old cat, you didn't ask what kind of a favor you would be providing, nor what kind of time you would be given. Now, no one knows for sure the particulars of what River demanded of Old Tom, but we do know that Old Tom has served River ever since, cursed to exact retribution on those who burdened their community, until he has dragged someone greedier than him into the muck and slime where his bones rest. For us mire folk, Old Tom is obviously a cautionary tale. Of course, you risk your safety by disrespecting the gloam or disrespecting the river, but there is, I think, a more important lesson here. Old Tom didn't drown because he mocked the gloam. He didn't drown because he mocked River. He didn't drown because he wasn't strong, or because he made a mistake, or because he slipped. And he didn't drown because he made a bad deal in the slop shade. Old Tom drowned because he took and took and took, and he gave nothing back. Old Tom drowned because he turned his back on his community. He forgot the deepest truth of the people of the bayou. In the quarters, community is the rough-hewn rope that anchors us through storm and high water. In the quarters, no kin's back is unwatched. In the quarters, no kin lives without music. In the quarters, no kin goes unfed.
I believe the sky was green. You said the sky was green. Please don't say what you don't mean. I would believe anything. I believe that I was cruel. You said I was cruel. I'd hang my head, cry fool, send myself to kindness school. And I believed that I was pretty. You said that I was pretty. I'd walk with my head held high in the city, winking at strangers and smiling at kids. I believe the leaves don't fall. You said the leaves don't fall. I'd watch them change colors and fall. Wonder how they hit the ground. And I believe the birds don't sing. You said the birds don't sing. See them fluffing up their wings. Wondered the source of the sound. I believe the world was scary. You said the world was scary. I'd hold your hand and walk all weary out there with the ghosts and ghouls. And I believe the world was funny. You said the world was funny. Baklava, hand on tummies, laughing with those clouds and fools. I believe the sky was green. You said the sky was green. Please don't say what you don't mean, 'cause I will believe anything. She's a lovely girl, but she's a misanthrope. She's sick of the world, she's at the end of her rope. She'd had it up to here with everyone but me. Women, men, and bees too. She hates them all and she might hate you, but when we're alone, she's as sweet as they can be. That's why it feels so good when we get gone, when she tells me I'm the one. So good when she holds me tenderly. I'm the only one that she don't mind, the only one out of all our kind. She hates everybody but me. It's hard sometimes with the misanthrope. I got grave concerns, it ain't no joke. I wake up wondering when she's gonna turn on me. In a cold, cold sweat in the dead of night, I reach across, I turn on the light, and there she is, sleeping sweet as can be. Yeah, it was so hard to win her heart, 'cause it's hard as a rock, except for one little part, and that's why I don't sleep so easily. Yeah, I'm so glad to be one of a kind, but I'm scared to death she might change her mind. She hates everybody but me. I'll miss her when she's on my misanthrope. I'll think of how it was, I'll hold out hope. She'll pick back up how it used to be. And she hated everybody but me. It felt so good when she took my hand. Felt so good when she held me tenderly. Oh, she hates everybody but me.
Well, I would be remiss to not revisit the story I shared earlier that had been accounted to me by the Sablethorne traveler. A discerning listener might, I expect, note some similarities between his description and a common myth on the prairie, of roaming bands of hoofed beasts that thunder over hill and through the brush, and gnashing their teeth and stamping the earth as they go. Well, I know that it discredits the storyteller and the listener to entertain discussion of the topic, but as you've sat with me thus far, implying a certain amount of confidence in my skills as a collector of song and sharer of knowledge, I beg you to sit with me a spell longer and hear me out. Look, I'll come out and say it. I'll get it out of the way. Horses. That's what this traveler believes he saw. A horse. And I know, tall tale, myth, fantasy, I get it. And I agree. The idea of a creature taller than a winter shield wall, crawling on all fours that can sprint you down and stomp you with its spider-thin legs, stampeding through the prairie in herds that sound like thunder. It is absurdity of the highest order. I'm not going to suggest that you entertain that possibility, as that train of conversation is well tired out. No. I wish to tell you a story that was passed down many, many generations to me via my late Meme Mare. Now, I am not the most squamous representative of my kin, but on my great-grandmother's side, I am descended from a long line of marshmallow and sea marrow before them. And long ago, when our mothers had not yet traveled upriver, nor settled on her banks, or begun the current, tangible interlocution with the many land dwellers of the prairie, our mothers slept on beds of seagrass, their necks kissed by the kaleidoscopic dance of the rippling moon. And, like we eventually would, our mothers dined on fresh oysters and traded love gifts of decorated shells and whispered warnings and prayers to keep each other safe from the ever-hungry darkness that surrounded them. And what warnings there were! The biting cold of the darkest depths of the ocean contains wretched, writhing things, their cold, desperate teeth scraping against stone and sand, seeking any flesh which might sustain them as they endlessly claw and chew their way forward. Their wriggling tentacles bind and choke, serrated hooks saw bone and tear meat, uncaring and half-aware leviathans will swallow you whole without any effort at all. These are the horrors of the deep ocean. And of all these horrors, there was one that echoed through the depths. Any omen of its coming dashed from family to family, sandbank to stone table to marsh bed, all the way down the line to me. The first warning of the creatures would be a thunderous, crashing noise, echoing from undiscernible locations, bouncing off the rocks and cliffs, until direction lost all meaning, until the sound surrounded you, incoherently avoiding placehood and rattling through your ribs. And unlike the aggressive forwardness of the Vinterfolk, or the defensive stone-walledness of the Sablefolk, and nothing like the calculated preparations of the liberated cities, our elders taught us that this was the moment
that you did nothing. No swimming, no warning your loved ones, no prayers shouted into the water. You pressed yourself to stone or sank into the kelp and mud, and you made yourself small in every way a living soul can be small. For the thundering herd did not hunt as the writhing things did. It did not search. It did not squeeze into the small places to pull the fearful out. It passed. The vast body moved with a blind certainty, their crashing limbs striking the water in a rhythm so powerful it split shells, stunned fish, and turned loose sand into choking clouds. You hid your body, and you hid your eyes, for to look was to invite a panic upon yourself that would surely end in your, if you were very lucky, only your awful, painful demise. After their crossing, the sea would get quiet again. Seagrass flattened, stone tables cracked, and sometimes someone would not answer the following calls. So when the Sablethorne traveler spoke of the spindly beast calling out with the thunder and lightning strikes, I did not laugh. I did not either argue. I have no more proof than he does, stories born of lightning and churning land or water. But I know that whatever truth or lesson my Mémé Marais was trying to impart, her words have stuck with me. Of moonlight rippling across sea grass, of warnings carried mouth to ear across sea plains and generations. Some things wish us harm. Some things in the deep sea and some things in the far north, and it is worth clasping hands in union to protect each other from them. But some things are simply too large, too old, too committed to their own crossing to notice what breaks beneath them. They are a myth here on dry land, but heed my warning. To cross that ocean, that vast, uncrossed expanse of sea may be possible. But to do so, we would have to prepare for the unknown and unpreparable. And if, with no storm and no lightning, thunder sweeps toward us, let my Mémé's warning stand. Be still, children. Let it pass. There will be time for action on the morrow.
Well, it's about time for me to be heading on. I would like to make it over that next hill before sunrise after all. But thank you for letting me sit a while and play you some music. I hope it was helpful, and that your projects and your ambitions are all fulfilled and succeeded. If not today, then someday. Hopefully soon. Until then, keep on keeping on.